Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, yes. Since yesterday, there is a short clip of Rigathi Gachagua, a clip that has been going viral. And I felt it was worth analyzing and discussing here because it exposes a very interesting political development. So in this video, I want us to have a look at that clip of Rigathi Gachagua, after which, as usual, we are just going to dissect it to see exactly what it means politically. Listen into this. Yes, that's Rigathi Gachagua. And from those remarks by Rigathi Gachagua is insinuating that Ida Odinga was heckled in Meru because sometimes back, Ida Odinga stated that when Raila becomes president, then small churches would actually be closed down. But is that what Ida Odinga said about small churches? Let's listen in to Ida Odinga sometimes back speaking about small churches.
When I stand in the center of my home in Bono, a place called Baruku, and I put a pin on the map, and the pin is 1 kilometer, and I radiate it around from the center of my home and make it 360 degrees. Inside that area of my home, there are 200 churches. Some of them, you find a man and his wife and his 2 children, they have a church. I know it's good to have a church, but we are not being very effective that way. We are not being very effective. Let's pull our resources together and do a church that all of us can pray. But why are they so eager to have everybody to have a church, every village to have a church? It's supposed to find 2 churches in one home. Why is it that? What is it? Churches are meant to bring us together. The Bible still remains the only book that will lead us and teach us about Christianity and Christ. Why is it that we have so many churches? And that is where, Professor, you come in. And that is why we have an organization known as NCCK, National Council of Churches of Kenya. Let all the churches be registered.
Yes. Listening to Rigathi Gachagua and then listening to Mama Ida Odinga, those 2 people are talking different languages. Rigathi Gachagua is insinuating that Ida Odinga said that when Raila becomes president, then small churches would actually be closed down. That's what Rigathi Gachagua is actually saying. But listening to Mama Ida Odinga is actually calling for these small churches actually to merge together so that they can form a bigger entity, an entity that can actually unite the people. Because now what Mama Ida is saying is something that is not rocket science. Mama Ida Odinga, a church is just meant to bring people together. So if every family now has its own church, that has the potential of actually dividing the people. Because now there will be competition between these churches. And that will, in the end, you'll just find some kind of competition that can actually divide the people. That's what Mama Ida Odinga is actually saying. Even though Mama Ida Odinga later apologized about that. But from where I see it, what Mama Ida Odinga actually said is the actual truth. We are all Kenyans, and some of these things we know. There is no need of each and every family having its own church. That has the potential of actually creating competition. And that competition can actually lead to more division. So Mama Ida Odinga, in my considered opinion, is not calling for the abolition or closing down of small churches, but is just calling for bigger entities. If these small churches can actually come together, they form a bigger entity that can lead to more people being united. That's what I'm seeing Mama Ida Odinga is actually saying. Rigathi Gachagua is saying completely a different thing from what Mama Ida Odinga is saying. And that to me is a propaganda. That's a lie. Rigathi Gachagua is lying in broad daylight. What does that mean politically? That's what I want us to find out in this video right now. In case you've bumped here for the very first time, kindly subscribe, give this video a like. If you look at William Ruto's brand of politics and those surrounding him, William Ruto's brand of politics is based mainly on creating false illusions and false perception. Rigathi Gachagua is a very close William Ruto ally. Somebody who initially was being seen as William Ruto's possible running mate. And you can now see Rigathi Gachagua lying in broad daylight, cheating Kenyans in broad daylight. That only shows clearly that these are leaders whose political career just depends on creating false illusions and false perceptions. Lies. That's exactly what is coming out very, very clearly listening to Rigathi Gachagua. And then secondly, Rigathi Gachagua is saying now that now Kenya has a God-fearing leader in William Ruto. But is that really the case? Does William Ruto's behavior show that he's actually God-fearing? I'm talking about a William Ruto who has actually been mentioned in numerous scandals or other allegations of corruption. I'm talking about a William Ruto who in 2007 was charged of crimes against humanity and he was actually taken to Hague because of that. So is William Ruto really God-fearing? Is he really exhibiting traits, characteristics of a God-fearing person? I highly doubt that, ladies and gentlemen. And then also listening to Rigathi Gachagua again. The main reason why some of the reasons why Mama Ida Odinga was actually heckled in Meru, the conveners of that meeting, or rather of that occasion, made it very clear that Mythical Nturi paid some women to heckle Mama Ida Odinga. And even when they were heckling Mama Ida Odinga, they were not even talking about Mama Ida Odinga's remarks on small churches, but they were just shouting William Ruto. And it's also very clear that Mythical Nturi might have paid those women and gave them some specific instruction to make sure they heckle Mama Ida Odinga to create a perception that Raila Odinga is actually very unpopular in Meru. That was the game plan. And if you look at it objectively, from the recent opinion polls that have actually been done in Meru, the polls are showing clearly well that Raila's popularity in Meru is actually rising as William Ruto's popularity declines. So I'm seeing a disparate team of William Ruto, Rigathi Gachagua, Ndindi Nyoro. I'm seeing a disparate team, a team that wants to create a perception that they're still very popular on the mountain. It's a given fact, ladies and gentlemen, that some months back, when William Ruto was still alone on the campaign trail, he was largely popular on the mountain. But immediately Raila Odinga and other aspirants also declared their interest for presidency. We have been seeing William Ruto's popularity on the mountain actually declining. And we have also been seeing other aspirants, in this case Raila Odinga's popularity, actually rising on the mountain. So William Ruto and his team, that is a sad reality they don't just want to accept. So they are going all the way to still create a perception, an illusion that William Ruto is still very popular on the mountain. That's exactly what I'm saying here. And they want to achieve that through propaganda. Yes. They want to achieve that through propaganda and lies. So as I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, it's almost very certain that those remarks by Rigathi Gachagua has actually backfired. It has not achieved its intended purpose. Rigathi Gachagua wanted to prey or rather to feast on the ignorance of Kenyans. Rigathi Gachagua is assuming that Kenyans are not actually aware of exactly what Mama Ida Odinga said about small churches. And then Rigathi Gachagua is also taking advantage that maybe Kenyans are also ignorant of why Mama Ida Odinga was actually heckled in Meru. Mama Ida Odinga was heckled because some women were paid to heckle her. And one person is actually being seen to have paid those women is actually Mythical Nturi. These are things in public domain. So from where I sit, those remarks by Rigathi Gachagua has actually backfired. And even if you go through comments by Kenyans, as that video has been going viral, a good majority of Kenyans are actually castigating Rigathi Gachagua. That's not the kind of politics we want in Kenya. That's incitement. This is a team that are desperate to incite Kenyans against other leaders. And that's not politics that actually should be encouraged. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, just as I did state when we were starting, in case you've bumped here for the very first time and you have not yet subscribed, kindly subscribe, give this video a like. And to our fans, our subscribers here, I'm very much humbled, very grateful for the kind of support you are giving me here. God bless you. God bless Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana.